Today I effed up by using poison oak to get back at my mum. Obligatory. This did not happen today, but well over 20 years ago when I was maybe 11 or 12 years old. At the time of this TIFU, I was still a shy and anxious preteen who never overtly acted out. Follow whatever mum and dad said and keep my head down to survive the rules. My subtle covert acting out took on a whole new level one weekend. I played soccer and during the Saturday tournament my mum told me something I had do something and I didn't like it. What it was I don't recall anymore, I just remember being angry and let down. So my brilliant mind came up with a plan to spoil whatever it was if the opportunity presented itself. Now, this soccer tournament was at an old complex that had neat trails and creeks through the adjacent woods that players and other kids would enjoy between matches. Between one of my games, I was playing tag in the woods and stumbled across a massive patch of poison oak. I knew what it was from the many times my parents showed it to me on various camping trips. I knew it wouldn't bother me, because I was immune, like my mother, and it only made my skin red, not itchy. Oh, how naive I was. So naive. My little angry brain went, bingo. I can fake being sick to get out of whatever my mother wanted me to do. And so, I began to hatch my little plan. I didn't just walk around in the poison oak patch. No, that wasn't enough. I picked the leaves and rubbed myself down. Face, arms, legs, ears. Basically whatever wasn't covered by the clothes I was wearing. Crunched up the leaves and squashed them behind my knees. I bathed myself in the stuff for probably 20 minutes, giggling at my genius idea. I even went back later in the day to make sure I didn't miss any spots on my legs and arms. It was not genius. Within 3 days I had the most itchy, intense and painful rash covering the majority of my body. My left eye was swollen shut. It hurt to move and I couldn't bend my elbows or knees. I shocked the doctors and basically bathed in creams for the next week. I didn't get hospitalized but did have to see my pediatrician 3 days in a row. Did I get out of whatever it was my mother wanted me to do? I don't even know. What I do remember is that to this day my parents still think that the complex mowed poison oak growing on the fields. They filed a complaint and I single-handedly shut down the complex for 2 weeks so they could treat everything. Did I cry when I heard my games got cancelled? Yes I did. Am I immune to poison oak? Nope, I just permanently made it worse for myself. Lesson? Don't bathe in poison oak to make your mum mad. Today I effed up by giving a girl a high five. Here is an event that happened years ago. My, now ex-wife and I were at the Renaissance Festival for the weekend and stayed until they were closing. Now by nature I am an introvert, I like not socializing with people or really hanging out with anyone. That is until I had a full bottle of mead to myself. So we started working our way out of the festival and back to camp. I thought it would be fun to start skipping along and giving anyone I could a high five. After a few minutes I lost track of my wife and went to look for her. I saw that she was near a couple of women that were sitting down on a bench. I attempted to skip over to her and saw she was bent over and talking to them. And super drunk, me not taking half a second to read the situation, I reached down with my palm out aggressively and yelled, "High five." The girl I was gesturing to did not respond, and the woman next to her wasn't paying attention. I kept bobbing up and down and from what I recall only managed to say, "No high five," before my wife gave her a hug and we left. Only then did I notice the girl had her head buried into her hands, and my wife then telling me as we left that she just found out her sister died. Needless to say I don't skip anymore after that. Today I effed up by telling my GF friend she was a sleut. This just happened last night, so not much details, but important details to note is the friend saved my GF from alcohol poisoning and addiction, and she has a traumatic past regarding SA. She can be very mean at times, I won't lie, but I think that's because of her past. Last night my GF and her friend were talking to each other while I was on a call with her. Well, I said something and her friend jokingly told me to, "Shut up B," and my brain auto responded with, "Yeah, and you are a sleut." The moment those words left my mouth I knew I had messed up. My GF told me, "I'm very disappointed with how you responded. I do not condone this behavior," and instead of apologizing right away I went, "I love you, good night," and hung up. I realized I had fucked up more, and 15 or so minutes later I finally sent my apologies through text to my GF, but she wasn't having it and said she wasn't the one I had to apologize to. She ended up ripping me a new one through text and I tried to call to apologize, but my GF friend didn't want to hear my voice, so I apologized through text. Her friend forgave me later, but my GF has been disappointed in me and has been keeping her distance. I can't kiss her or anything. She even told me she's completely turned off by me now. Personally, I don't think she should still be upset with me after her friend forgave me. Update: her friend tried to steal her old phone and some rings from my GF, almost $600, and she came to me and apologized. We are good now and I'm here comforting my GF because she feels so betrayed by her friend. I feel bad for her. She's been on a roller coaster of a day. Her old phone had proof of the abuse her ex put her through, and now it's all gone because her phone reset the phone. Edit: I'm not really looking into much relationship advice. I'm staying with my girl. She is the most kind person I've ever met and she spoils me rotten. She has given me a heartfelt apology and we are good right now. She's crying on my shoulder because one of the things the friend tried to steal was a bracelet from her brother that was custom made. Today I effed up by igniting a watermelon tsunami in my humble kitchen. So, it all kicked off today when I, being a TikTok enthusiast with too much time on my hands, decided to stage the legendary watermelon vs. rubber bands battle in my own kitchen. The idea was laughably simple, or so I thought: suffocate a watermelon with an army of rubber bands until it can take no more and finally bursts. The excitement was palpable. The watermelon was quivering and bloated under the pressure, and I could almost taste the viral TikTok fame I was certain to achieve. But then, as the saying goes, all hell broke loose. The watermelon exploded with a force I can only compare to a juicy, fruity grenade, sending a tidal wave of sticky debris in every conceivable direction. The shock wave of watermelon guts reverberated around the kitchen like an echo in a canyon. It was like a scene out of some bizarre food-based horror movie, with my kitchen playing the part of the unfortunate victim. My ceiling, once a spotless canvas of white, was now splattered with the gooey remnants of my once whole watermelon. The walls? Painted with layers of sweet, sticky juice. And let's not even mention the state of the cupboards. It was as if they had been the epicenter of a freak watermelon storm, with chunks and pieces lodged into every nook and cranny. My appliances were drenched in a sugary dew, completely baptized in the name of my catastrophic experiment. In the aftermath of the explosion, I stood, wide-eyed and dazed, at the heart of what could only be described as a watermelon disaster zone. Cleaning up was no small feat. It was a grueling, back-breaking 5-hour mission, which even now seems far from over. Just when I think I've finally scraped away the last of the dried, crusty watermelon, I find yet another piece hidden away in some obscure corner of my kitchen. So here I am, sharing my cautionary tale, from the front line of the watermelon warzone. If you ever decide to go head-to-head with a watermelon in the rubber band challenge, do yourself a favor and relocate the battle outdoors. Because let me tell you, the sticky memory of an indoor watermelon apocalypse is not one you'll easily scrub away. Share your story in the comments. I would love to add them to a video.